Welcome to the CFG GameCast, episode number 102, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays, and we release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and so much more. So show us some love. Give us a follow, a like, a comment to any of those podcast services, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Oh, not too much. I discovered with White Day that I'm only 10% done after my second playthrough, so I will be playing it 5 more times. I did trigger every ghost but 2, but here's the kicker. I did trigger them. I just don't know what happened, but essentially what they want you to do is like play on very easy, normal, hard, and hell mode. They want you to play all of the modes so that you can collect all of the things, which I think is cool. Like you're getting the most out of your money. I do love that game a lot. And you are correct. So here's the interesting thing, because you had asked if there was a second game, and there was rumors that there was, and that it was going to be called, oh God, now I can't remember, but it's now, Swan Song. It's been now changed from Swan Song to, I believe, The Flower is like the translation of it. So I don't know if maybe they're going to come out with like a little DLC patch first and then, but I'm excited because I'm really digging this game. Some of the ghosts feel like a little bit of an afterthought, and I did complain that I thought there was too much information, but now playing it through for the third time, I am enjoying that they do give you all of the background, which I think is pretty interesting. Sometimes they don't make sense, but it's translated from Korean to English, so That's
interesting. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is I need to figure out like I was wanting to mess around with that game a long time ago. Just glad you actually have the patience to check it out yourself. But it's really cool that you're going through all of this. So that's pretty neat. And but how's the second playthrough comparatively to the first one?
So the second playthrough, I played first on normal. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't activate all of the ghosts. So come to find out, you have to play on hard or hell mode, I think is what it's called, to get all of the ghosts, which was fine. The only 2 that I didn't get so far is what's called the Fox Spirit. But I did hear her singing, and I did see the scratch marks. She didn't attack me, but I couldn't find anywhere that it said she would attack me. Like some ghosts attack you, others don't. They just frighten your character essentially. But on very easy mode, you don't get any of the ghosts. Like you get their background and their information, but you only get the ones that trigger to a next scene, like the mandatory ones. I don't want to give it away too much because I think people should play it. It's really cool. But there's a bunch of other fun, interesting things like these figurine dolls that you can collect. Didn't know about that. So next, hard or hell mode, I'm going to try to get all the figurines too. I think that'll be interesting. I want to 100% the game, like actually 100% it. And when I read after the second playthrough that I was only 10% done, I wanted to punch a screen, but that's okay. Because very easy mode and easy mode, you can run and the janitor's like, I'm coming. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Bye, dude. And I'm just speed running essentially through the easy modes, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. And I did beat Mr. Hop's Playhouse too. Also very enjoyable, cool secret endings. I liked it. I highly recommend. If you like a short game, but has a lot of Easter eggs and secrets and gives you a good bang for your buck, that's a good one too, is the first and the second one.
I don't know what that is at all. I've never heard of Mr. Hops.
I saw you playing a little bit.
It's essentially a little girl gets a doll from her Nana, and then days later her Nana passes away, and come to find out this doll is evil. So, and it's a little bunny. Yeah. And he's cute. And then all of a sudden he's like 8 feet tall and not cute. And he's got scarred teeth. Yeah.
Wow. No offense though, but it sounds like that person's Nana's a real dick. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. It was changed to the flower. Yep. That flower that tells lies. That's what it's called. Not Swan Song anymore. The flower that tells lies. I think it might just be a chapter thing, Nightmare, but I digress. I'll have to wait and see, I guess, huh? So.
Okay. Well, do you know who loves those kind of horror games?
Oh, I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty the third seat. I'm sorry. I got nothing. Big Papa Smitty. How you doing, buddy?
He's a twat.
Yes. So we had, that's right. We had our second daughter, Aslan Jane Marine, this past Monday. It was crazy. So obviously I haven't really been playing much or doing a whole lot of things. It's just been straight baby mode. So definitely appreciate all the love from everybody. Both mom and Aslan are doing great. So yeah, it's been busy. I had some projects work wise that I had to finish up as well. So like I haven't even technically started paternity leave. So, I'm excited to get some time next week and just kind of get back to normal and figure out what that new norm is and help out where I can. So it'll be nice. I have, however, gone back and I did have a save point in Mass Effect. Before I went to the last mission. So I'm going to do all the side quests for that and then finish the story. And then we'll see about it. I think I am going to stream the second one, based off of Davis, being like, hey man, just go ahead and do it, son.
Just do it one day. Yeah, just do it one time, man.
We'll yeah. Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect 2 is the best one, man. You know what's funny to me? You know, it'd be better. It would have been funny. It's like, yeah. So I had a baby, my second daughter. So when I found out she was gonna have a kid, I went to go play some more Destiny 2 for the next 2 days. Couple of days. I did
like, a little Destiny 2 in, but you know, it was there's not. Yeah, babies sleep a lot at this time, and really, besides, it's nursing, eating, and sleeping is all that's happening. And as a man, you really see how worthless you are once you have a little baby, because there's not really a lot that you can do other than trying to make them comfortable and get in naps and stuff like that. Otherwise, we're just meat bags, things. So
we basically are. We're just kind of like stand on the side and see where the things go.
Yeah.
I would say cook the meals for the next week or so, but we all know that you set the kitchen on fire, so maybe not.
No, that's not true. That's only happened twice in my life. I am a monster in the kitchen.
My kitchen on fire.
Okay, but the one time I was a fool, the other time I was a drunken fool.
Oh yeah, you told us about this. You told me.
Yeah, no, these are facts. These are facts.
French fries. Opie did not like that. I'm sorry. It's fine.
What's the common denominator of those two stories was like you were trying to cook French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the common denominator. The French fries will get you. Watch out for cooking oil. Make sure you turn off the stove once you are done, and do not walk away from a pot of hot oil with French fries in them.
Funny? So I was actually gonna come across this to you because I think it's just funny because like I just think there's so many classic Smitty moments. It's not even funny. I just think that should be a shirt of you, like as a caricature of rubber banding caricature of you with the white gloves and your logo. It just has the words classic and 8-bit and just Smitty underneath. And that should be perfect. That would be perfect enough. Black and white. Just classic Smitty. Oh my God.
On the back, will it say I caught my kitchen on fire twice?
Yeah.
It should be 3 Zelda looking flames underneath it.
And only 2 were lit.
Sometimes I wonder how I made it. Like sometimes I'm just like, all right, that was really stupid.
This is perfect. That'd be the perfect shirt for you. Oh my God. You just inspired me in so many. You inspired me in so many ways, Smitty.
But what about you, Davis? Other than your internet going out and now it's back, how's your week, brother?
Oh man, I unfortunately I had to hold back on the streaming this last week because I had a lot of stuff I needed to take care of. But what was cool though was that I I played. I finally got into playing Final Fantasy 14,
nice. I've been seeing you. You played with? Did you play with Doc?
No, I didn't even know. It's funny. I didn't even know Doc was playing, and what's even funnier is that I didn't know Doc is in the same servers that I can get to. I mean, we could play together if we want to, but like, I would definitely do it. But then because like all I wanted was there's a car mount in Final Fantasy 14 that shows you could drive the car that was in Final Fantasy 15 in 14, and I was like, that's a cool
I like
idea.
that. I like that car.
So I was like, okay, I kind of want that. It's like, even though I don't play the game, but I'll give it a shot just to see how, just to get the mount and stuff. But then they come to find out, they said, oh, you have to beat the original story of 14 to get it. And I'm like, how many chapters is that? It's 110 chapters.
What?
Like, yeah, for the original story. So
story is 110 chapters.
That's the intro story. Keep in mind that this game has four expansions. And it also have patch updates. So they want you to beat the original base story. Yeah, it's huge. And so like I was like, oh my God, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna do this. So like what I did was like I managed my time to say, okay, this amount of time I'm gonna play it 2 hours a day and then see where it's gonna go. And then apparently I beat it like on Thursday. So I beat the story in less than a week.
So apparently you don't mind wasting your life.
Oh wow, what an asshole!
I played. Get him.
But like, so I did it. I beat it. And I was like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. So I did it. So now I'm like going in the groove of it, and then now trying to get the money so I can get ready for it. No, there's no end game because this is the beginning of it. You remember, there's 4 expansions. So I'm still 40 levels behind. We're 30 something levels behind from where Endgame is at. So I still have a long way to go. Yeah, but I'm just glad that I did enough so I can get the car. That's all so like the victory in that self is like, I got the car. I can get the car. I'll be good. So, but other than that, that's all I was really having time to play. And then I did play a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories, but I was mostly, my heart was just in the trying to finishing that Final Fantasy 14 where I needed to be. So now I did,
of course.
So I can, now I can kind of calm it down just a smidge. Let's see, Jordan Schumacher. Y'all think Kino der Toten is coming to Cold War soon? I don't know what that is, but
zombies map. That's a zombies map.
Yeah,
it's isn't Kino? It was in one of the Black Ops. That story, I love I have not kept up on the storyline as far as what's going on in zombies. I saw, This Is Chris or, Lit AF Chris, playing the other day. Cause I forget that he plays a ton of zombies. But yeah, that story's been, I'd like to get back into it though. Cause they've gotten, I think with this new season, there is even a new map and this and that. So we'll see what they do as far as with that. And how it pertains to the story too. I love that story though.
I can't comment. I lied. I did like that story. I think it would be cool. But I'm not playing anymore. So to me, I'm just like.
Well, the big question is like, I mean, technically in the there's going to be a new Call of Duty in literally in 3 months, right? So would they add a new map?
Like Cold War's not even been out that long.
They are moving up to it. They are moving. Well, that's the thing though. They put out a new one every year, and I think that's the wrong model to go by. Not only that, but you've got Battlefield 2042. I used to make the mistake of getting both of them. I've since smartened up, and I was like, and played none of them. Yeah, I have since smartened up a little bit, and was like, all right, I'm only gonna get one or the other. I'm not gonna get both of them. I'm gonna skip this Call of Duty. I'm gonna get this Battlefield. Cause it looks hot, it looks fire. There's no story to it. So it's all just what we want, these massive ground wars. And I love it. I'm here for it. I'm super pumped for that. So, yeah. And it's technically, I think it's Treyarch incorporate, although I think some of the other ones started incorporating zombies a little bit, but Treyarch is a studio that primarily
started it.
Yes, exactly. The other ones I would say are not canon.
Well, Black Ops was the ones that did Black Ops, I believe, was Treyarch. Treyarch was the one that initially started the Black Ops series, and then I think Sledgehammer was the one that
they took over.
They ping pong themselves between the Black Ops between those two, but then they also got
too much.
third. Yeah, it's way too much. 3 different studios for one franchise is insane.
Even if I was going to be playing any Activision or Blizz games, it would be Cold War for the storyline. Like I haven't finished.
That story's great.
I know, and I want to. Yeah. The Cold War kind of has a personal meaning for me, so that really intrigued me. And then fun fact, I have so many games that was like on my back burner. Now I'm just like, don't care. I'm not, and I'm not buying the new one. That's for sure. So
yeah.
Thanks for the bonus topic information there, Jordan. I appreciate that one. But,
right?
I know we could be talking about Call of Duty all day, but let's just go through the normal rig and roll that we have that we have set up for today for everyone today. So each of us chooses a topic or discussion for each week within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners who are actively viewing us on Twitch right now, on YouTube, and on Facebook Live, to be a part of the conversation. So if you have something that you're wanting to talk, or if you're wanting to share about what we're talking about, by all means, type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you. We are all cool here. We do not judge, but let's make it a cool conversation for everybody, because everyone has something to say, and they may disagree. So let's go with this. Alrighty, so let's start with Smitty.
Yeah.
Smitty. What are you bringing to the table?
So we got a meaty topic today. We got a couple meaty topics, I feel. For me, and I'm going to drop the article here in chat. I feel like this is a big one, especially for those that are Apex Legends players and whatnot. But the company just recently fired their lead graphic designer. I believe the lead Apex Legends developer, after some of his past remarks have surfaced that were both misogynistic, sexist, and racist. There is a lot here to get into. His name, Daniel Z. Klein, worked as the lead designer at Apex Legends for Respawn. And they basically, the post that Klein wrote, this is on Twitter, I believe, calling women irrational for their moron chromosomes, and in another likening his African neighbors to animals. So pretty bad, obviously, things. And this is where really I really want to get your guys' opinion, both Lex and Davis, and you guys out here in chat as well. So once this stuff came out, right, EA, Respawn, they fire him. On Twitter, this dude took to Twitter and is like, this is, quote, "I take full ownership for the things I said, and I'm embarrassed, sad, and angry at my younger self for saying this stuff. I hope it is obvious that I don't believe these things anymore," is what Klein wrote. Their HR department was investigating, and then just kind of getting into it. You know, he's like, "I wish I could take time to decompress, but that's not how my brain." Oh, I'm sorry. That's some other irrelevant stuff. Basically, he was saying he owned up to it. Yes, this was me. This is my, stupidity. And you can see here on the screen some of the things from which he wrote this stuff. Again, I don't even know where this stuff was pulled from. My question, I guess, to you guys is, this was from 2007. So this was 14 years ago. At the time of him writing this stuff, he was 28. So he was a full ass grown up. Okay.
Yeah.
So, clearly this was things, but I also feel kind of too at the same time, at what point in time does, people grow, people change. People say dumbass things when you're young. I know that there was all kinds of stuff. If there was like internet and social media like there is now, I've said it plenty of times, I probably would have been canceled. But at what point do you then say, because recently they came out with the new character, the new season, Seer. So he's, people started digging into his stuff and whatnot and found this this thing. So at what point in time and I kind of understand why the company made the move. They're trying to get ahead of this stuff. Something like that could be very bad for the game, the community, everything like that. They made the decision to fire him after an investigation and whatnot. But at what point in time, too, this is the part that's a little scary. Is this moving forward something that is just going to be a thing that, especially after years, something that was irrelevant? I feel like there's been change that has been shown throughout the years that, that person that sits before us now is not the same person that was there before. I could tell you 14 years before, I was a completely different person. You know what I mean? You change with new information. You change with, how society changes and stuff like that. And either you're against the grain and you're already at that point, you're already showing a pattern of being like that, as opposed to, all right, this person has clearly learned and changed. I just feel like this is a slippery slope, especially when it comes to somebody's job. It's like, this isn't a hobby for them. But again, at the same time, you're also a representative in a lot of those cases for the company, and they have the right then to do that. So I'm not refuting that by any means. It's just kind of scary sometimes seeing just how much something from years in the past can later on just affect you and completely blow out all the work and all the change that you've made and done. I was curious to see what people's thoughts are on this.
Do you want to go with it, Lex? Because I probably have. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think first off, guys, just a friendly reminder: scrub your social medias regularly. Even if you weren't popping off with some stupid shit, you probably said some cringy stuff, right? Just regularly scrub your socials. But here's my thing. Now, if this person popped off in 2007 and then continued to pop off, got a job with a big company, and was continuing to then still pop off, I can see where there's an issue. I think we all say stupid stuff. Usually it's in our younger years. I wouldn't say it's as a 28-year-old. But and as he mentions, like, I've clearly grown as a person. I'm not that same person. I'm not the same person I was at 14. Or 14 years ago. I don't think it was 14 years ago, but you know what I'm saying. We absolutely do grow, and I think we demand change from people. And I think the only way that we're going to get that is if we stop holding past things against people. They've been brought up. You own up to it. You apologize. We move on. And if that person continues to still be a crappy person, I find issue with that. If they've obviously changed from point A to point Z, they've become a better person, they're doing good for the community, they're not harming anyone anymore with their words or offending people, and it's not like he was closeted about it, and then, like, his opinions have clearly changed. I agree with you. I think that, it's hard to say, because we demand change from people, and then when they do change, we still hold stuff against them that they've already apologized for. It's already been something that's been brought up. Why are we still beating a dead horse? You know what I'm saying? If the person has clearly done better. Now, it is their right as a company. He is a big representation for them to then fire him, even though this is 14 years old. And that's why I say, like, something that you said 10 years ago that at the time wasn't that big of a deal may be different now. And, I think we have to hold ourselves accountable to those standards of, maybe I made that bad joke back then and it was okay and it was funny. It really wasn't funny, and I need to accept that and get rid of that, because that's not who I am anymore. But I'm also a small margin of the people he needs to apologize for. I felt his apology was genuine, but I mean, it's too little too late. He's already been let go. But clearly, I mean,
I don't know, man. Like,
it's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, like this. I mean, it's weird. It's kind of an interesting kind of system the way I look at it. Because well, yeah, because like here's the thing. Like my biggest issue is this, dude. He was 28, man. I mean, like when he said it 14 years ago, he was 28. He's a grown ass man. He says these kind of things. Who's to say that he doesn't harbor that stuff on the DL? The only difference is that he's smart enough to not post it on Twitter. Is one of the things. But the kind of stuff that what he was saying is that he was left unchecked when he said it. He just naturally changed off of that about being with the kind of stuff he was saying or the way he was joking. Because don't get me wrong, I understand the way that some people joke can be incredibly offensive, but those jokes are not meant for you or me to listen to or whatever. But still, it doesn't make it still okay. But in that, because like in this case, it's I don't like the fact that that what happened to him. It sucks that it did happen to him, but at the same time, it's like you can't say that's not justified over something like that. Now it'd be a different story if there was a person that had a view like the views that he kind of. I mean, dude, what he said was pretty hard. Is what it's pretty hard on saying that, especially when he like I was looking at some of his tweets and I'm like, wow, dude, this might be like the caveat exception of like, because I mean it's just as much as like if a person does a background check on you and they found a flag and then they're like, you're not going to hire you because of this. This is the same kind of thing, because it's not like he wasn't in gaming 14 years ago. It wasn't like he was doing something completely different on this. And it's just the biggest thing is if you want to be an asshole about like how you're going to how you truly felt, because Twitter is not the secret of the big secret of Twitter isn't the fact that people can see what you're saying. And then people, it's like the big secret is that. So if you're going to say shit like that, especially the hard stuff that you were saying like that, then that means you already didn't care. You already kind of felt that it wouldn't be a big deal already how it is. And then there's no one out there that's going to say, man, this guy's kind of sounding kind of racist, or this guy's sounding very misogynistic, or all these different kinds of things. And towards this, it's like, and if he changed, good for him. But at the same time, how would I believe that he really changed those beliefs? Because we don't know the guy. I mean, we don't know the whole factor of all of this. So, like in this situation, I would say that they are very well within their means and their rights on getting rid of a dude like that. And I'm glad that he's owning up to it. That means that he's definitely taking personal responsibility of what he said. It's not like saying, "Oh, I was drunk" or "I was high." Well, I think he kind of did say that, but he still said he still owned up that was him. Yeah. All right, to do it. So that, I mean, and that's kudos to him to do it. And then like he knows that he won't have to do the shit that something like this to happen again in the future. But the biggest issue I have is the fact that we're kind of going through this thing about how old this thing is. And stuff. You can't measure. I don't think. I think it's fair to say that we really can't measure it at like saying how long of a time it's been for certain things. But there's going to be certain things where it's going to be like, oh, he was like 19 when he said this, and it's probably different because he's a child of the like he barely seen the world and he knows how the world really works. Dude was almost 30 years old, man, and it's like. There's no absolute way that that you cannot hold a person that responsible to be saying the things that he said in those tweets. Those were really, really damning tweets on that, and then not feel like there's going to be anything to come back on this because I mean we're kind of going through this right now with Blizzard, with the whole Blizzard stuff. Like people are being held accountable on stuff that they did 7 years ago that they claim that they don't do anymore. That they remember from the apology letter that they were like saying, it's BS, So like, who knows, man? Like, I mean, who knows what, like, who's to say that I believe him? I mean, I still kind of like actions speak louder than words. What he's doing on his actions right now is showing that he is taking responsibility of what he said, but he has to do a lot more to be like, you gotta show me that you really don't care about like that you don't really have those kind of views on like, you know, on the on like people of color or women. A big thing is women and stuff like that. You know, that's where I'm coming from. Like he's definitely gets his due on what it is and towards that. I mean, what about you, Smitty?
Hold on, I think Lex had something to say.
I did.
Oh,
just a quick like pop in. I think what a lot of the times when people say things that are horrible, not to excuse any behavior, they're usually going through something themselves, right? And Zukara brought it up, and that's kind of how I was thinking too. You know, he stated, you know, I was in a group of people who were family, and unfortunately they made commentary that was racist, and thank God like I was hanging out with people who are like that's not the proper rhetoric and you shouldn't be saying that, and I agree. And you know, I
would not
I don't excuse what he says, but I can understand that situation, I guess. But again, I've also been on the internet for, I don't know, 28 years, and I've never popped off with something stupid like that.
Yeah, of course. But I guess too, like, because I've been, you know, I grew up in a town where I was the only black guy. I was the only black guy in our high school and most of junior high and stuff like that. So like I've seen people come a long way from, dude, like I couldn't even hang out with certain people and stuff like that, to see the change of some people, to really get to know somebody and realize that like, holy crap, dude, I was completely ignorant to what this is all about. You know what I mean? Like people have come back later on as an adult and said things to me. So like, I think it can have, and again, I think you're valid in what you're saying, David, as far as like, look, dude, you may be saying this, but I don't have any kind of evidence that shows that anything has changed. I did want to go over what his apology tweet was. It goes, as of last Friday, I'm no longer working at Respawn. I want to be very open here and say that I'm heartbroken and depressed. It's been a very dark few days. You may or may not have seen the awful bigoted things I said in 2007. I wholeheartedly agree that guy should have been fired. I have poured so much energy into becoming a better person since then. And right now I'm just very depressed because it feels I'll never be able to make up for who I was. I said racist and sexist things, not because I deeply believed any of them, but because I knew I could get a reaction out of people. That does not excuse anything I said. The impact of my words was the same regardless of what I believed. I'm mentioning this because with the help of a lot of people who loved me, in spite of the shithead I was sometimes, I was able to make progress on the journey to becoming a better person. If my story can help one person out there in a similar position to see that there's a way to become better, it would be at least serve a purpose. Again, to be clear, I'm not saying EA or Respawn did anything untoward. They were absolutely within their rights to terminate me, much as I may disagree with that decision. I wish I could take time to decompress, but that's not how my brain works. I have crippling anxiety, and if I don't at least start looking for a new job, that anxiety will eat me alive. If you know of anything that might fit my skill profile, let me know. Lastly, I'm just sorry to the Apex team. This is a headache they did not need. I know what their future plans are, and I absolutely believe Apex has a bright future. There's so much cool shit coming. I just wish I could have worked on it. Anyway, if we know each other and you want to talk, please hit me up. If we haven't talked before, please give me some space now. I'll be back. And I kind of went through some of the comments and things of that nature. And, you know, it was kind of a mixed bag. Some people being like, look, you got what you deserve. You're an idiot, this and that. And then other people that were like, hey, you know, it takes a, you know, we understand that growth happens and, you know, that, you know, clearly, you know, you didn't try to skip around any of this stuff.
He recognized,
you know, he was very, he
owned up to it. Like I said, like that gives him his own credit. Give credit where credit is due on that, because you know, like if a person who really kind of, I mean, he says that he was doing that to rile up is exactly what Lex was talking about, you know,
right?
Towards this, but like at the same time, it's just like come on, you don't want to act a fool, like you don't want to have incriminating photos that if you know that if a job is going to be looking at, like if a job is going to look and crawl through your social media, you want your thing to look spotless, you know? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if they say like, depending on towards it, that's 101, but that's how it is now as opposed to 14 years ago. Cause you know, it was still social media was new. 2007,
Right.
2008 was somewhat
as
new.
a hiring manager, dude. That's one of the first things I did for candidates. I would go and look for their social medias, and I'll look all up and down, and that tell me everything I need to know. You know what I mean? Before I even got you in, or like that could prevent you from even getting a call from me because it's like, nah, dude. Like I already see from what I see from social media, it ain't gonna work. So
if you guys if you guys go on Twitter and you see a person that has a hashtag like hashtag Black people, am I right? Kind of thing. It's like, I'll be like, you know, that kind of
staying away from that.
Yeah, it's like, let's just kind of hold back on that kind of deal. Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. The only difference is that you just gotta, like, that vetting process could easily went through incredibly late through the cracks on this.
Right.
That's basically what it comes down to. Because, like, I mean, but like something like that, you should have not have. Jakar's like, yeah, that's a big yikes there. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's just like that's the kind of mentality that you gotta have to say. I mean, it's like, hey, you're right. People have to have that scrub, but the people certainly need to do that scrub. It's a big thing.
Gosh, man.
They'll be like, "Holy crap!" But come on, dude. I mean,
well, that's the other thing too, though, and that's why, like, I feel like esports is having challenges. You know, number one for me, you know, for professional sports, it's about building these characters, these superstars, people who connect with. Like these are young kids that have zero training as far as being in front of cameras, how to properly, you know what I mean, speak to media organizations. The things that you're doing, social media is a huge part of that. So these kids are out there with a shit ton of money. I couldn't even imagine having a shit ton of money and being that age, dude. I said, dude, I always say, dude, I would have gotten canceled so fast, dude, because I would have been a fool. I would have acted a fool. I was the fool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they need some sort of training, or they need a person to help educate them on being able to properly navigate through this stuff, especially as young adults. You know what I mean? I feel like we're doing a disservice both in the organizations, but it's not, I mean, you can see too, it's not only it's young adults, but then it's also the older heads too, where, you know what I mean? Back in the day, we're like, you never thought anybody was going to see any of this crazy shit that you were saying. Like, don't go look me up, dude, because like, I'm sure I got some crazy shit out there. That freaks me out, man.
If Smitty
nothing
was
crazy, but like,
if Smitty was in with esports, Smitty would have to have his thing would be called Fry Burner Smitty. And then he's like to teach these kids, it's like, hey, you want some fries? And then they'll be like, no, we don't. No, come on, we get some fries.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Oh no, but yeah, it's I think this was well deserved. I mean,
I think so too. But not only that,
say.
but I did a little digging in there, and from what I've seen, people have had multiple clashes with this dude. This dude was responsible for the balance, nerfs and buffs in the game, and from what I've deduced from this, he did a pretty terrible job as far as balancing these characters out and stuff like that. Yeah. People were salty about the fact that he's getting fired for this and not because of that. And these are like pro players and things like that.
Come on, guys! Like balancing is one of the hardest. So hard.
No. But here's the thing, though, and it's not necessarily like as far as with that, but like people from the community, pro players, were giving him suggestions and stuff, and this dude didn't want to hear it. He was rude about the shit, which is like, I'm strictly off the numbers. This is what the numbers say, and things like that, and they're telling him something else.
That's why
so the community had proven him wrong. You know what I mean? On a number of occasions where the community was right, and this dude did not want to hear it.
Okay.
Because he was very open about communicating with the community, especially pro players.
So you know what happened?
But he wasn't listening to what the shit they were saying, and would have to go back and like, oh yeah, you guys were right, but wouldn't say you guys were right. You know, and things like that.
He pissed somebody off, and they went through his social medias. That's what happened. They're like,
and
oh, you don't want to listen to me?
Thing. Yeah,
like that's exactly what happened. Oh,
yeah, because they were saying the Caustic thing, where Caustic was like at his prime, and instead of like balancing him out, they just nerfed him into the ground. They're like, you know, he was saying, well, if I take something away, we have to give something back, but like they just destroyed Caustic as a character. Yeah, so interesting as far as with that. Yeah.
we'll see how things will change without him and on the helm. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't want people to lose their job and their money and their livelihood and stuff. But if he's truly sorry for everything that he's going to do, he's obviously going to get better. Try to get better, so this doesn't happen again, or him just self-improving. So let's go with that and just see where it's going to go. The real thing is, the problem is when you don't want to, I mean, the problem is if you go 100% with the community, then that means that the community isn't always right. And then I understand
they can just wind their way into changes. Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like, oh, so-and-so is really broken and stuff like that. And they're gonna be like, oh, this is what would make them better and stuff. And then there's like, okay, let's do that. There's that balance. Now the big thing is that so like the developers are gonna do what they're gonna do already. But then there's also like, but there still should be like I'd say a 20% scale, I would say, that you would want to go by community feedback, but you can't go towards that. So and that's why I'm cutting this guy slack. Man, like balancing is one of the craziest things to really do in these kind of games, especially a games as a service. So I am not, I'm going to like, I don't even know the numbers on how this all works. I mean, I just started playing Apex a month ago and now, but like, just to say all this different kinds of stuff, it's like the stress balance. We don't know what all that stuff is. I mean, you're right. Caustic is probably the one that sticks out that he did a bad job on, but like, but still, like there had to have been a method to his madness, and even though if he wasn't admitting fault to it, it's like you just gotta. I mean, you would gotta have the hope that it's going to fix itself. It's going to eventually fix itself. So,
well, Zakar makes a good point. Like the numbers show Watson has a high win rate, but she is not a good character, and they are talking about nerfing her. I know that's a big issue for the community. And the reason that, because he's just looking at the numbers and not what's happening. The reason she has a high win rate is because only like these people that have put like really monstrous amount of time and are really good are able to win with her. But in reality, she's actually one of the weaker characters of the bunch.
But something like that has never been. Yeah, but something like that is not unheard of when you see that.
You're not unheard of.
When people looking at the numbers and stuff like that,
not unheard of.
Yeah,
but if you're just looking at the numbers, though, you know what I mean, and not looking at what's actually happening within the environment. I think you need to be able to look at that and then be like, all right,
the only person doing it though. That's what I'm saying. It's like I think that it's like. It has to be more than one person doing with those kind of number scrub. Like it has to be like a group. Like maybe not a sizable group. Still, though, but
you're the one then that are making the final approvals on what goes through and what doesn't go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like even still with the group, you know what I mean? It's like bad is bad. How do you know what I mean? Like if that's what you got to focus on and stuff, and again, I don't have a leg in the game really, so to speak. But for people to be able to say it. Come out with this stuff and you're not even like you're just like but the numbers like look dude like but you're not factoring this into those numbers.
Well, we'll see. We'll definitely
and there is going to be changes as far as with that, I'm sure, as far as who ended up taking that position over and whether it ends up being a positive for the Apex community or if it ends up being a negative for the Apex community. Only time will tell.
Taking criticism is rough, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to stop it at that. All right, You're good welcome. Topic, Smitty.
Yeah,
nice way of bringing people down.
Yeah. Oh, you ready to go even lower?
I'm ready to go. I didn't say I wasn't a hypocrite. First off, but anyways.
Let me Reiki heal everyone real quick before we move on. There you go. All right, we're ready.
Yeah, let's bring this mood even lower now. So, like, we're gonna kick a dead horse into the ground even more with Blizzard. So my topic is you know what? This isn't really a bad thing, but it's more like I just feel like this is the beginning of, the clean out of, the toxicity that people were talking about. Because I mean, with all of this, but basically this week they announced, Blizzard developers, were fired this week, because of the infamous Cosby suite picture. If you haven't seen it, let me see if I have a picture of it. It's really,
you had it up a moment ago.
Yeah, the Cosby suite picture. Oh god, that's
terrible, dude.
they were,
terrible.
yeah, it's like, it was a bad taste. Like, even for its time, it's like they already knew Bill Cosby. This was not what you probably wanted to, go with it. But basically, as you know, if your people were living under a rock and if they weren't keeping up with what's going on with Blizzard's getting sued by the state of California for its bad work environment. Like, their work environment is incredibly toxic. It was really bad. They're claiming a person committed suicide from it. They had these booze crawls inside cubicles and stuff, and then people were openly talking very sexual remarks and stuff like that in passing. So it was not a very clean or very a very clean environment for a business. So this Cosby Suite picture, this was taken at a BlizzCon 1 year. I forgot which BlizzCon it was. 2013. BlizzCon 2013. Of like the big developers of World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and stuff like that, StarCraft, like small the games that they were doing and they were showing off. So the biggest thing is that people are getting axed for this. So one of the big people was a guy named Jesse McCree, who basically was the lead. Now this is where it kind of get a little concerning if people are still planning on getting Blizzard games. And I wouldn't judge people playing Blizzard games. If people want to play Blizzard, let them play. But Jesse McCree was the guy who's also known as the guy who named McCree from Overwatch, as well as the lead director, one of the lead directors of Diablo 4 is gone. He left. He was let go, as well as what's his name? Afrasiabi. I want to say Afrasiabi. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
So like the developer for World of Warcraft was let go as well this week, and as well as the third person did too. So they are being cut because of the obvious, issues in the issues because of that time of people, that time where people are getting, basically the bad work environment. So the biggest issue is that we can mispronounce his name. He's not a good dude. yeah. So like this guy is, so these people are gone completely on the company itself. So this is going to be leaving a weird limbo state. I mean, what's even crazier is that the new CEO of Blizzard is gone already. He was only been there for a year, gone because of all of this. It's like, I just want to know how many figureheads are going to roll, because like the biggest thing is like, I don't know how Kotick is not going to get any kind of blowback from this. This is where I'm kind of wondering on this, because they're trying to do crowd control. This is what Blizzard's trying to do right now. They're trying to put out the fires that this revelation came into play. But the problem is that you could fire the whole upper management staff of Blizzard, but you're not fixing the bigger issue here. You're not fixing the environment of how people are feeling when they're making these games itself. So this whole environment thing is on Activision. But after Bleak got bought out by Activision in 2007, 2008. So I don't understand how the top brass is not going to feel this, is not going to feel the heat on this. So because now the bigger issue is this. You got Diablo 4 in the mix. You got Overwatch 2 coming out from it. You lost the lead director of one of the big released games. So this game is going to get delayed. Indefinitely going to get delayed, but we don't know by how long. Yeah, and stuff like that in Overwatch. But you're messing with your full infrastructure of all of this, but you're not fixing the bigger issue of trying to fix that environment, and as well as taking care of this lawsuit correctly. So I kind of wanted to know, what are y'all what are your thoughts? What are they going to do? I mean, at this point, I feel that Blizzard should just, what Blizzard's no more. I mean, the original guys are gone from Blizzard. This isn't going to be the same kind of Blizzard that we've all grew up and loved, from back in the days and stuff. I mean, is it just basically just kind of cut the ties and just say, okay, we're going to just merge it. We're just going to call it Activision, like the Activision side, or what do they need to do to fix this bleeding and getting rid of some of and see what they can do to move on to try to get the support back to from the public, because right now I'm not seeing it. I've totally uninstalled everything that was with Blizzard. Like I don't have Battle.net on my thing. I stopped playing Heroes of the Storm. That was the only game I was really playing from Blizzard. Diablo 2, I'm not picking up the Diablo 2 remake. That's just me on this. My own personal thing.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I'm not playing any more Blizzard games.
Yeah, until a lot of different things need to change, and I just feel like they're doing they're doing some of the steps, the right steps, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's still addressing the bigger issue here, because I think the bigger issue is like they have not even scraped above that surface yet. So I just want to get y'all's thoughts.
Oh man, I think. I think I don't even know anymore. Like there was a period when all this had broke, I was like, I'm waiting to see how the victims of these things who are still working for this company, a lot of them, want others to handle, right? So there's like the Blizzard walkout and all of that, because they were like, this isn't an apology. We don't believe you. And things aren't going to change. You're going to say they're going to change, but they're not, right? And so they were asking, out of solidarity, like stand with us by, essentially boycotting the games. I have no issue doing that. I wasn't playing them much anyways. Gives me more reason not to, essentially. But I was excited for Diablo. I was a huge Diablo kid. Not excited anymore. I don't know how that you can kind of come back from this, to be quite honest. I mean, how do we... It's not like a forgive and forget. I feel like this is so huge. And again, this is not some lawsuit from like a class action lawsuit from a lot of the workers, right? This is the state of California coming after them. And I cannot reiterate how much of a mess this is. I don't think you can. I'm just going to say that. I don't think you can. Smitty, what do you think, buddy?
I'm kind of with you guys on that. As far as, this is kind of not necessarily. So the way I see it kind of is, you know what I mean? Like you had, like take Evo, for example, similar situation, the guy that started that and whatnot, he had all that stuff come through. I think it was here like a year or so ago. And, eventually they end up canceling that Evo that year. And eventually now we know that Sony has bought Evo. So I think people as far as with that are excited to come back. And I think that's something similar that has to happen. You got to absolutely wipe out the toxicity, from that environment. Completely different leadership. Anybody that had any part or even close to that, not close, but any part in that stuff needs to be axed, immediately, and then bring in new people, change ways. I think eventually they do come back. Time is the great healer. But right now, I don't know how anything, I mean, they've already stock wise, I think their stocks have gone down like 8 million. You've got people kind of like Zugara saying like, bigger streamers hopping off of it and stuff like that. They're going to definitely feel this hit. And you've got a lot of people that feel strongly about it.
See, but again, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say what Kit Senator says here is like when a company name becomes synonymous with racist and sexist behaviors, how can you begin to reclaim that name? Good question. But this is exactly what Smitty was kind of saying about Evo, because what like the way Evo survived was guys stepped down. They sold the rights to a completely different company that was respectful. But here's the problem here. with Blizzard, it's not Blizzard, just Blizzard. It was also it's Activision Blizzard itself as a whole through the whole thing. People are emphasizing it was Blizzard because Blizzard had showed the main sides of like all this stuff was happening, but this all happened on Activision's watch. Like, I mean, like the whole like the big issue was like was it the fact that like, you know, it's always been there, because it wasn't in like for the longest of time. It's like, it's more like I don't know what I mean, how all this is coming from, would be coming from. That I feel like I think it's the bigger issue I'm kind of seeing here is that the main company also need to feel that heat as well as Blizzard itself. Like but I'm sorry to cut you off there, Smitty, but you can continue.
No, yeah, and there's some good points that have been made here in chat as well. Dust said next move would be for Activision to split Blizzard up and sell its IPs to other companies, cut and run. I totally could see that happening. Dark Eliza is like, I loved Overwatch, same, but I don't feel great playing it now after all this is coming out. Not saying I'll never play the game again, but it's just not been a good look. I agree with that. I have had no desire. I'm not going to lie. Last night, I totally downloaded the Diablo 2 beta. And I was thinking about, you know, checking it out and whatnot. And my thoughts, I'm very conflicted on this because I know that there's these bad people that allow this and help to perpetuate this terribly toxic environment. But I also can't help but think that there's a lot of good people that worked on these things as well. And for all of their hard work to just be like, fuck it because of some of these people. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm so torn on that. You know, knowing that stuff, but I don't see that there's no way that they have to, anybody that's had any inkling of it has to be eliminated immediately. Not only that, but we don't know then, and maybe we do, and I just don't know if, you know what I mean? If there's going to be any kind of criminal charges that stem from this. And I think Zucaro is 100% correct. This is not just an Activision Blizzard. This is an industry-wide issue that we've known about. We've heard it from Ubisoft, freaking, was it Riot? From Riot, so many others. This is a systemic issue that is there that now, you know what I mean, with this, especially, bringing this more to light, you can only hope, and it'll be interesting to see as time goes on what kind of changes come from this, because this could be that catalyst that we start seeing this change in this toxic industry as a whole. There's no place for it.
Well,
there's no place for it.
I mean, the state of California is probably the strictest kind of place for stuff like that to go down. I will say that because they clearly are doing actions for this kind of thing, or for this kind of situations, especially trying to keep in mind the workers. And when you think about it, they're also the only state that doesn't recognize, you know, work as a state. So like, so like, I think that it's very very proactive of what they are doing to try to make this right for the individuals towards this. And I really like the fact that they're fighting for those people that are not saying anything just because they have to they're wanting to work, they're wanting to keep their jobs, or wanting to get into that situation, you know, to kind of get up any higher, even though as futile as it is, it's like, okay, this is what they got to get their foot in the door. But like, I mean, now we know where the problem is, and it needs to get better. Now the big thing is like, what are they going to do in the future so this stuff doesn't happen again? Because like, you're right. Because like less than a year, you're right. We got Riot Games. Riot Games was last year. Wintertime was Ubisoft, and then now, and then now it's this. But this one is more like the nuclear bomb of everything that's happened within all of it. It's just like, but it shows, because like when people were like complaining about crunch time, it's like, oh, crunch time isn't as bad as it really is. It's like, yeah, it is. Y'all are basically doing these kind of crazy expectations for these people that are, and you're just like, you know, you're asking too much. It's insane.
Can you imagine that was your work? I couldn't even imagine going to work and that is shit that you have to deal with. That is insane for me to think about. As far as that, it's like, it's one thing to have like a little bit of a looser culture at work and whatnot, but that is beyond that, dude. And like, not only that, but the HR department is 100% complicit within this as well, because that is your line of defense from the employee and the company. But again, HR is more to keep the companies out of trouble,
safe
as opposed to really looking as opposed to looking out for your human resources.
As someone who worked in an environment that was more of like a loosey-goosey, fun kind of culture. Like, we worked on the Las Vegas Strip. We had a badass restaurant. All of the managers were fantastic. And then one day, one of them wasn't. And, you know, it was being brought up to other managers like, hey, what do we do about this? You know, and their higher ups, right? Without going straight to HR. And they're like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And then things progressively got worse. And I'm like, man, I know I've already told you about this, but so-and-so wants me to give him a blowy in the back for more hours. No.
That's crazy.
I worked my butt off and I deserve those hours. I'm going to college. I work around y'all's schedule. Absolutely not. You know, and it's like, now you're messing with my money because your joke has gone too far. And now you think that if you are serious enough, maybe I will go in the back with you. No.
Ridiculous.
It's not a fun environment. It's very scary because all of a sudden it turns into, well, all these people side with the manager. You're in the wrong. You took it the wrong way. This is your fault. Really? Because he said it to 3 other people in front of all of y'all.
What the problem was with this thing with HR, because HR was not clean on this with all this happened. And what G Nice, I have to kind of go back a little bit. G Nice said, "Why isn't this context time related bad behavior that deserves understanding, but bigoted comments from same? I don't know. Does it say same era? I can't read. It got cut off. But same era are not." To be honest with you, like with that kind of, the way I look at it is that if your infrastructure of like the tower itself has been compromised, like if it's been compromised to a point where it's like, because I mean this isn't new to HR, because I mean it would be naive for me to think that HR did not get any of these kind of complaints before throughout its history towards this. It's just a matter of HR didn't protect didn't protect these people. They just ignored them, and that's exactly what they were doing. Yeah, and there's proof that's showing that they did ignore them. So like,
you're talking about a person versus the culture of a company.
Yeah, the culture of a company is like you can't beat that.
Yeah,
you won't be able to beat that.
Well, not only that, dude. So I managed a team of 20 people, and I've had to deal with situations like that where somebody was saying crazy stuff and whatnot. And those are things that I immediately handled, because if it did turn into more, now I become liable as a manager, because I now know this knowledge. And I've always said that, it's like, if you tell me something, I am obligated then to escalate it. I'm not going to sit on something like that. And especially, number one, that's not what kind of culture or environment that I was trying to foster in my position and what we were trying to do. But then just the legal ramifications of it. This is exactly how you end up in a situation like this, is by ignoring it, letting it fester and grow. You then become complicit in allowing something like that to happen.
Oh yeah, and to comment on what Dark Alyssa said, Elisa, I had a huge target on my back, huge target. I had my clothing burned at work, set into a trash can and lit on fire.
It's like a Circuit City.
That is
This was on the strip. This was on the strip, but it was my fellow coworkers who knew what was going on that were on his side about it. And I'm like, okay, if you didn't know the situation and you hadn't been standing there, like, okay, sure. But to that degree, now you're not just bullying me, you're harassing me. You don't believe me. Fine. You were standing right there. And he said it to other people who are also your friends. Like, we all hang outside of work, and now all of a sudden, like, are you joking? Yeah. No, they burnt my, like, not my work clothes, but they burnt, like, because I would come from school, change, and I have a pretty cool t-shirt collection, y'all. I lost a good 5 shirts, and I was so sad. But
that's crazy.
Not just that, but then it made it like every time I'd walk into work, like my heart would just start pounding. It's like, what am I going to deal with today? Who is so-and-so going to be my manager today? The one that's sexually harassing me? I don't know. Are Grace and Alex going to be working and burn more of my clothes? Are they going to light my purse on fire today too? What's going to happen?
as terrible as that is, it's kind of like, I mean, like, but the point is, like, it's no one should be treated like this towards this nonsense.
Yeah.
But, like, it's good. Well, good for them, but I mean, still, you have to deal with all of that kind of nonsense throughout the whole thing.
But I can imagine if that's over commentary. That's not a pub crawl through my office. I can't imagine what these people went through. And it's not just women. There have been men that have come forward and that were being sexually harassed too. Are you? No, I think Just is saying sell off the IPs and good riddance. That's the only way.
That's the only way that they're going to have to cut this thing, which is really unfortunate because, I mean, to say that Blizzard's would end like that is heartbreaking because of, like, you know, just the history of Blizzard. It's just so many different kinds of cool things that they did, like back in the day with Warcraft. I mean, the beginning of World of Warcraft, I mean, even though I didn't play it, it was very special for a lot of people and stuff. And then it's just like to go out like that, it's just sad, you know? So like, I mean, but like, and I would totally agree because it's kind of like, you can't just say the same people are going to be left in charge and then just say, oh, we're going to do better now. Especially that bullshit fake apology letter that they did immediately after all of this to reply back on the
slap in the
California.
face, dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, yeah, especially when they kind of acknowledged it that their environment was like that, but then they're like, oh, but it's not anymore. So you're right, we trust you. It's like regardless.
And that's why when like the information had first come out, I was like, I'm gonna wait because here's the thing: these people probably still work for this company. These people put hard work into it, who are victims, and me automatically just saying screw it and boycotting right off the bat may be more harmful to them than helpful, right? And so that's why a lot of us kind of like sat back and waited, like what's their next move?
What's
and when
going
that
on?
came out, the workers were like, nope, we're done. Let's go.
Yeah,
I was like, good for y'all. Good for you guys. I'll do whatever you want me to do. But yeah.
And Zakara made a good point. Hopefully not Ao's Dust. Saying, to be honest, this may actually end up with a positive outcome as far as the games that come from it are concerned. Not only that, but just the industry as a whole. You know what I mean? Because you're right. It's crazy, number one, that there's not unions within this, within that whole, you know, as far as designers, game studios and things like that. I'm surprised that there's not unions and they haven't unionized as far as within that front. I think so.
I don't think this is going to be I don't think it's the thing that
pushes it over.
Yeah, that's trying to break camel's back. I mean, dude, union talk has been around forever for these kind of things. It's just that, like, the way companies build it is just like, because like technically the way they hire people is by project, but they don't hire them as, like, you know, I mean, they do hire a certain amount as contractors, but they do hire them in the company. And then once they're done, if they have any further use of those individuals, they'll let them go. But like, that means that they would have to change their full infrastructure plan, their whole like structure of gaming process of changes and stuff. Even though they know, I guess the bigger thing though too with it is that we don't know how bad the back end stuff is, because game design is very, very kind of secretive when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, you know, when it comes to like with the process of building these games and stuff, because they always kind of keep it close to their chest. So like it's been an uphill talk forever about unionization. If you have to, but like this is one of the textbook cases where it's like when you see all the publicity about like the status life of building the game, crunch times, stuff like that. You know, some companies with crunch times and stuff like EA and all these different kinds of deals with like the full stature of all this, you would think that it would be something that they would have done a long time ago, but it is not really a night and day difference kind of thing. But I don't think it will take a lot for them to be like, okay, I think like they would need to have like 3 Blizzard events happening at the same time with 3 different developers that will be like, okay, we lost faith in these American companies and like a Square Enix and stuff that like decided to kind of go that same route. Maybe, but no, this is not going to start the conversation, unfortunately. I believe so. But we'll see.
We'll see how it plays out. So
Lex, I got some we'll probably hold off on that because we are well over an hour on these two conversations on this deal.
Snap, we did, yeah.
Okay.
But we'll definitely, sorry about it, but we'll,
no
but we'll definitely, there's just too much of this bullshit that's happening. It's unfortunate. I mean, like, at least, the one thing we are seeing, though, the one upside of all of this that we're seeing is that people are holding these people accountable, like, towards this. Even though Blizzard is, Activision is kind of cutting the ties to cut the, to put out the fire, towards it, but it's strange to say that Apex actually did the right thing with EA, being an EA and all, because EA's crazy horror stories of different kinds of things. It's like, at least they're when it's coming into these kind of lights, they are putting these people in place to say we're not about that, So I mean, no one said anything about Smitty's sparkle shoulders. Yeah, so we'll say
it's
that.
The key.
Lex.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you have planned for the week?
Well, super cleaning this weekend, but more of the same. I'm gonna speed run through very easy and easy mode on is this easy mode on why can't I think of it? White Day, sorry. And some spooky games. I also think I'm gonna decorate for Halloween this week because screw it, why not? because it's August. Yep.
You have you have 2 months, 2.5 months. Oh my God!
I don't get what you're saying, boy.
I'm gonna soundbite that, boy.
Well, I also have to. I'm gonna make some Halloween decorations, so I think starting now will be fun. But I have to read into some borax information.
If someone knows how to make a GIF of a rubber band, make a rubber band Smitty, please let me know. I would love to do that. A rubber band animation. You never heard of Cuphead? Cuphead was like rubber band animation. They move in their body all the time and stuff. Yeah. Please let me know because I have an idea that I think you would like. So yes, that's all of it. And Smitty, what do you have planned for the week? I know.
Oh, just being a dad.
Yeah.
not only
2.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Actually, tonight here in about an hour, we're going to be playing some Destiny 2 with Zuzu and Dust. We're going to get a Vault of Glass raid in, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully, we get the Mythic class.
Excuse me. Are you stealing? Oh, he's your boyfriend. Never mind.
Yeah, he's my boyfriend on Saturdays.
Not my boyfriend. Your
That's
boyfriend.
Right. So thank you, Eliza. Appreciate it. So doing that, and then again, I'm gonna try to get into a good place. I've got a lot of next week off for paternity leave, so I'm definitely gonna be trying to cruise through. I actually picked back up Watchdog Legions. I'm playing the Bloodlines DLC with Aiden. That's I'm enjoying that. So I'll run through that, get into a good place, and then hopefully be able to start Mass Effect 2 here soon. There's a couple other games I need to do and whatnot, but I'm looking forward to having some time and then a bunch of cleaning, getting the house back in order and get things good now that baby's here. So, What about yourself, brother?
I'm going to write an angry letter to Ubisoft wondering what the hell happened to Skull and Bone. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. It's too much work.
Do it. I hope you draft it. I'm great at writing letters.
Dear Ubisoft, who the hell do you think you are? That's how it started. But anyways, I'll be playing. I know what I'm going to do. I'll be playing some more Final Fantasy 14. My goal is I want to start Heaven's Ward at the beginning of this following week, since I wanted to try to play some more Apex and stuff, but we'll see if that comes in. I'm just basically going to be chilling. I got one more crazy week before it kind of calms down, so we'll see how it all works and see if it comes in the cards this time around. So guys, thank you for listening to episode number 102 of the CFG Gamecast. We really appreciate you being a part of the conversation. We will be back next week with some more awesome topics, and hopefully we'll have time for Lex's awesome topic this time around. You know what, Lex? I promise you, anything that's going to happen, since you didn't do it this time, you're going to be first next time.
He goes first. Yeah,
you go first. That's only fair. I feel bad.
I might even just change my topic now. It's fine.
Well, I mean, you could just put in passing that, hey, I wanted to talk about Alan Wake 2, because Alan Wake 2 would be pretty cool. Is a really nice one, but unfortunately, with the time,
it is
time crunch. But
it's coming back, y'all.
But I promise you, you're going to be the first one. So regardless, for it next time. So
make sure you have a meaty topic.
Yes. Okay.
So
we'll be back again next week. We will release this on podcast services on Monday, as always, like we do for all the other ones. But excuse me. But if you want to listen, if you want to go check us out on our, you could go on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, or any of the services out there. There's no excuse to not listen to our sexy voices. And or just go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com. We have reviews, interviews, and stuff. Next week, I'm looking forward to it. Originally, it was supposed to come out this week, but next week we are talking to the director, a director from Nickelodeon who's doing the movie The Loud House, and he was talking about his stuff. But the cool thing is, this dude worked on one of my favorite cartoon shows called The Amazing World of Gumball. And I'm just like, that show was freaking
my daughter used
money.
to watch that. Yeah, my daughter used to watch that show. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's very, very hilarious. Yeah. He was talking about the creator of it too all the time. It was a blast. Yeah, so definitely check that out, and you'll definitely love it. That interview coming next week. So, guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty, Big Papa Smitty, signing out. Thank you, y'all. Take it easy.
Bye.